Hey guys, I'm Tara, and today I am going to show you the top 5 settings that you need to implement in Microsoft Dynamics Customer Service Solution, specifically for any customers that are within GCC or Government Community Cloud. And this is so that you can get the most out of the Dynamics solution that Microsoft has provided. So let's get started.
A couple of things to get us started is where we start. So we're going to be in the Power Platform Admin Center, and while this demo is really focused for our govies or our government cloud folks, those in commercial still can follow along, and if so, you would be using a different Power Platform link in order to engage with the settings menu. So just take note of that, and we can get started. This is the Power Platform Admin Center, and we are going to be focusing our efforts on the environments once we get into the demo, but it's definitely worth noting what this is and where it is, because there's a lot that goes on here with setting up Dynamics.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to set up Omni-channel. And what you're looking at first, a couple things. We want to make sure that the 2024 release wave 1 is switched to on. In order to do that, I can just go ahead, click manage and update now. We'll go ahead and confirm, and it does take a few hours, and that's not a problem. Once that gets activated, then we'll be able to activate the Dynamics 365 apps. So to do that, we will go right over here, Dynamics 365. And what this is telling us is that we have certain things installed already and that there are updates available. Now, just for the sake of this demo, I'm going to skip forward just a little bit and we'll go to Install App. And this specifically lists the Dynamics 365 apps. So I am going to scroll down until I see Omni-channel because I want to get this enabled in my environment. So as we can see, it's not configured. Let's go ahead and hit next to start that configuration. We hit OK, and it's actually going to take me to the Dynamics 365 Admin Center. And so what's going on here is we're going to be setting up Omni-channel by clicking Add Environment. And you'll see across the top, we've got our piece of tracker for the process or the business process. And right here is where we're going to identify our environment. I know I'm using the same one repeatedly, so I'm going to select the video content dynamics, and we'll hit next. And that's going to spin for just a moment because what it wants to do is get us over here to be able to start setting up. So when we're looking at this, we see chat, SMS, social, and Teams. We're going to do all 4 of these for the sake of the demo. But if you did not want to do one, you would just leave this unselected. But we're going to go ahead and turn the radio on to yes. For SMS, we'll do yes. And then you do have to select that you're going to, agree to the privacy policy and so forth, the user agreement. Social channels, sure, let's do social channels. Now I recognize that this is going to, geared for GCC, and in Government Community Cloud, it's not likely that they're going to want to turn on all of these settings, if any, but I wanted to show you what can be done as far as setting things up. So we've done that. If you need to go back, you're more than welcome to go back and make corrections. Say you don't want SMS after all, you can just unselect it. And we'll click next. So what we're seeing here, quite frankly, is our options that we've selected. Let's go ahead and click finish. And we see our spinner coming up once more. And this is an indicator that the process has started. And what we're going to also see is that it's going to take a few hours for this as well. However, having said that, even though it takes a few hours, you can still continue to work. And that's what this banner notice is telling you, is that you can close this page and it's not going to negatively impact your setup. You can keep moving. So with that, that is how you get it set up. And then I will show you what it looks like once it is indeed implemented in your environment. So the top five, let's move over to number 2, is going to be setting your system admin, or the person that will be responsible for essentially managing Dynamics 365. Now, this could be one person or several people. Typically, in a GCC environment, that would be a few individuals. And so what we're going to do first, I just wanted to show, we can see that release wave 1, it is turned on, and we can see what has been completed. So now you know what that looks like. And then we're going to move over to our users and click on see all. And you can see here that I have some users that I had already populated as demo users, and I narrowed it down by simply typing in demo dash, which identified their username or their email, as you can see here. And what we're going to do basically is I'm going to give Natalie Anderson basically system admin rights so that she can be a manager of this system itself. And when I look at her roles over here, well, I clicked on her name, and then as I look at the roles over here, I can see that she doesn't have any right now. And I currently have the global admin role. So for her, I want to click manage. And what I love about this is all of these are already out of the box. I did not have to create any of these, which is such an improvement, extremely time-saving improvement. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say basic user. I always start with that for everyone. I think that's more of a force of habit. But we're also going to give her additional roles that say she would end up being involved with a customer service type of role within Dynamics, not just a system admin. So I'm going to select a few things. I'm going to make her a CSR manager. I'm going to additionally, let's see, what should I give her? I'll make her a knowledge manager as well. I'll make her an omni-channel admin, which is important, and an omni-channel supervisor, because managing omni-channel going forward will need someone with those permissions. And I'll also make her a system admin, as I mentioned. We'll go ahead and click save, and that is how easy it is to assign a user role to someone, and we can see what roles she has. And that's literally the extent of it. There are several ways to do things, as Microsoft has always embedded in their service and their platforms. So there is a way to add multiple users, and there's also different locations to go to find a way to add additional users. But this is just a seamless way for me. Feel free to experiment with your own process and see what works best for you. Now, the third thing that's in the top 5 is going to be enabling unified routing. This is going to be done in the Customer Service Admin Center. And to give you the most concise or direct definition that I could give you for unified routing is essentially the system takes in inquiries, cases, whatever the content may be that's coming through, and it's automatically sorting it to go to the particular person or group that you select to receive it. Now you would be setting up who receives what and why and how. However, the customization that you put into it allows for that automatic sorting once your system is up. So in order to do that, like I said, we'll start here on my Power Apps page, and I'm looking at your apps right now. You should see on your own the Customer Service Hub and the Customer Service Admin Center. If you do not see any of these up here, you may want to switch over to seeing all of your apps or seeing more of your apps. So we're going to go ahead and Customer Service Admin Center. I'm going to hit play, and that's going to open up the desktop app for me to get into the Admin Center and make the changes that I'm mentioning. Now we're on the home page of the Customer Service Admin Center, and this button has recently come out. I'll just go ahead and click it to on to switch to the new look. It's really up to you to decide if you want to go with the new look or the old look, but it's quite similar. So perfect, we've got that going. And where we want to focus before we even begin all this channel stuff, we want to start here because I'm trying to go over the top 5 with you. But normally, if you weren't doing top 5, you would just follow the prompts for the guided channel setup. But I'm going to go ahead and click on routing. And in order for us to get this kicked off, we can see turn on unified routing for records. This is what we want. We'll go to manage. Once that comes through, this may already be grayed out for you, or it may not be. In this case, it says turn on unified routing. All I'm going to do is hit that radio button, click OK, and now it's provisioning. So what's happening, it's literally that easy to turn it on. If you don't see that option, that means you don't have permissions. But what's going on in the background is Dynamics is setting itself up so that unified routing can be customized by you as the user or the system admin, and you can start setting your parameters of what you would like to occur and where you would like things to go. And that can be based on criteria such as the description of a case that comes through. It can be on criteria of which customer it is that's submitting the inquiry or a case. So having this is essential when it comes to configuring this service to making sure that you're getting the most out of using this product, the solution of Dynamics 365. All right, and number 4 in our top 5 is actually going to be related to knowledge management. So a lot of agencies and even companies, of course, they have a lot of processes and procedures, and it's helpful for people that are handling these or managing these to know what to do in that situation. They need to know what's the protocol, right? So instead of looking down at a manual or asking, Rebecca across the way, you can simply start putting the procedures and processes and standard operating procedures that you may have into the knowledge management base, and you can be able to use that as you're looking things up while actively working on a case. So to get to that point, the first thing we're going to do is we're starting on our home page, and I'm looking at the apps, and I want to play the customer service hub. So that's going to open up, and I'll just click on try the new look as well, just to kind of get used to it, I guess. I don't believe it has much of a difference in the old view, but there are some enhancements. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on for the new look. And I have sample data already in here. And if you all have not seen it already, I do have a video on how to get sample data into your Dynamics. And that's where all of this came from, but I will share that link with you as well. And what we want to do is go down to our knowledge section, and we'll do knowledge articles. Now, even though what's already here is activated and was provided by sample demo data that I installed on the system, I can still add to this. And I have an example that I've used recently, and I'm going to show you how to get it in there, and then also show you how you can pull out the keywords to help for better identifying it when it's needed. So I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to, this one we'll just say funding for grants. Funding for grants. And I don't want to pull out any keywords right now. I'm going to save that for the suggestion feature that it has. And I'm going to click save. And similarly with the description, I'm going to save it so that it can pull it out for me. From here, I can go attach files. I'm going to pick a file that I know, how to apply for a scientific research grant. I'm going to use the PDF version. Open that so it'll load. I also want to show you the content section right here, because this can be just as effective for the case agent that's handling the case itself. Now I'm going to pull up, let's see if I can get it. I'm going to pull up the Word version of how to apply for a scientific research grant. The reason is because I'm going to copy and paste it into that content section. So we'll just grab everything here, Control C, move back over, if I could find my tab, move back over, Control V, and we can see that it came over. It's living happily as ever, and now that I'm completely content with that, I look at that, go, that's great, I'm happy there. Let's go down here, make sure there's nothing else I want to do. Looks good. I'm going to hit save. Now, having saved, we're kind of able to move forward again. You can double check it. You can change the text, the formatting. You also have the preview button here. View suggestions and keywords. It can go searching again. If I do that, letting it search and load again, it is going to search not just the document, but the content itself. Okay, and as we can see, it populated even more content in terms of keywords and description. And so I'm going to add even more to my box there. I'm going to add the scientific research grant, funding opportunities, funding agency, foundations. I'll even add project summary. I'm going to skip CVS because that might be confused with the retail chain. And then also it provided an additional description. The article provides a list of applications for scientific research. Okay, that sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that as well. Add a period there to separate, and I'll hit apply changes. Now that I've applied those changes, now I need to save those changes. And here we have saved. Now, we've just added the article, but we haven't published it yet. And there is a process for this. So this is actually very helpful if you're not the manager. Say you're a contributor, you want to get it approved. You can be the author. And once you're the author, you can take it over to the next stage. Subject, always important. For this, and you can add new subjects in a different table, but I'll just put information and I'll click next stage. Now once it goes over, and completed of course. Now once it goes over to the next stage, this would be where you would select whether it's approved or rejected. And the person that will be selecting this or seeing this would be someone like a knowledge manager. In this case, I hold the highest role, so that's why it's showing up for me. So if I'm a knowledge manager, I like what I see, I'm happy with it, it meets code and standard, I'll hit approve. And then I also, of course, am going to kick that off to the next stage. So the knowledge manager approves, goes over to publish, and I have the option to set an expiration date. I'll say in this case it's a standard operating procedure and it does not expire, but it may be replaced later with a different version. So that's a different demo altogether. I'm just going to hit finish. I keep forgetting to click this. Completed. Don't forget to click these, even though I just did twice. This is completed. It's now finished. Everything looks good. Do I want to publish approved related translations? For now, I'll say no. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this right now. Now that it's been published, I'm going to click on, scroll down to update, and we're going to go ahead and click OK to confirm it to make sure the changes have been saved. And as I hit the back button, I can see right here that my funding for grants has gone through. It is indeed published. It is the major version, and it even shows other metadata like the date. And so now, if I were in cases, I'm just going to select a sample case, click on it, and here's where it becomes valuable, because if I wanted to, I could look up similar cases, but also clicking on the book icon for knowledge opens up that knowledge base where the caseworker can actually look and see what's related to their case. It has the information already. So I'm just going to click on the X and I'm going to say grants. And what it should do is exactly find the information that I had just published as an article. Now, there's an option. Do I want to link it to this case so that I have justification for my actions? Do I want to like it? And even the attachment button tells me that there is an attachment, and I would be able to email that content to the person that I'm working with, the person that submitted the request. So when I do that, it's going to automatically link it to that as well. And here it pulls up the email template for me. So that is why this is in the top 5, because having this at your fingertips basically makes sure that everybody is following the same processes and procedures. It's making sure that everybody has justification for the decisions that they're making. And it also gives insight into why people are doing what they're doing, and for those people managers and program managers, what needs to change, what needs to be updated. So this is why this made the top 5, and this is definitely one of my favorite features. All right, we finally made it to number 5. So our number 5 in the top 5 of things that we want to set up out of the gate for Dynamics customer service is going to be insights. So we're going to scroll down on the left-hand side under operations. You can see the insights. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And this is probably one of the most important things that you can activate for your agents and for your users. And we're looking at the AI features section. So first one is auto summarization for conversations. It's currently turned off. Well, we want to turn that on. And as we see when we enable it, what it's going to do is provide a summary of the entire conversation, whether it started from a chatbot or whether it started from a direct inquiry. And that summarization is going to allow for insight into the case, after it's done. So this is really important because if someone needs to get caught up on, what went down with this case, this is a great way to have that quick recap that will automatically be added into the Dynamics platform itself. So you got some triggers here. It says when an agent joins, again, that can be from like passing through a chatbot, passing it over to an agent, or when a conversation ends. But there is one thing that you do need to take note of this, is that in order for this to work, you're going to have tenant level access to enable this feature integration with Teams. So you may see this possibility here. You may even be able to enact it and switch the toggle to on. But if you don't have tenant level access to ensure that you can integrate with Teams, it won't actually be effective. So just something you need to be aware of. And again, there's all this documentation that is provided throughout the Customer Service Admin Center with the Learn Here or the Learn More. And you can follow those links to get more granular regarding what roles and permissions you need. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and just hit save and close to turn it on. And I have verification here, it's turned on. And then the second part under the AI features is suggestions for agents. Again, you've got your hyperlink here that will give you more information about roles and permissions to do this. And I really like this because having shown you how to put knowledge articles into the system already, now we're saying, okay, what can you do for me based on that? And we can actually enable similar case suggestion and enable the knowledge article suggestion. So as we scroll down, we can actually look at it, and it's asking us about the entities that we want to look at or the tables that we want to look at. And in this case, if we have a case come through, we want the case title to be like the summary of it, but more importantly, we want it to start mapping out by the description and using that and the title. And these are the kinds of ways it's going to find out what might be a good match for the agent to use as reference. And then also we have the article title and the content for the knowledge articles. What's going to help with that reference? This is what we're going to look for first. And you have options to switch it, and it can do things like look at keywords, content, description. I always prefer description, but I'll leave it like this as it is. But you should really play around with it and test it out and see what gives you the better results as if you were the agent themselves. So we're going to hit save and close. And once I have verification that I've turned it on, it's just as simple to turn it off. Say you get in here and the agent say, I don't need this. It's getting in the way. I just prefer not to have it. And you're cool with that. You just go right back in under manage, and you can just hit the toggles, save and close, and then you're done. It's literally that simple. But again, knowing your roles and permissions are going to be essential to working with this. So that wraps up the top 5. I hope it's helpful for you to have some insight into the things that I suggest to get started in the platform. There's so many things that you can do. You don't need to do them all in one day, but if you have the core, I think it really does help you successfully build out an entire platform as it is to meet your needs. So I hope this has been helpful, and good luck everybody. I appreciate your time. Have a good one.